Good morning. So, little story for you this morning. Bob and Mike are walking through the woods, and all of a sudden, Bob stops and sits down on a rock, and he starts pulling a pebble out of his shoe. And Mike says, "What are you doing?" He says, "I have a pebble in my shoe. I need to get out." And Mike says, "We don't have time for that. We need to get out of here. Let's go." And Bob says, "Relax." He says, "I'll be fine." He goes, "Let me just get this out now. I'd rather deal with it now than deal with it later. It'll save me time. Trust me." Mike says, "Well, I don't have time for this. I'm just going to keep walking. I'll meet you at the end." And a little while later, all of a sudden, Mike hears footsteps behind him. Bob comes running up, and he says, "Hey, what's going on?" Mike says, "Ugh." He goes, "I've been limping like crazy. I have this pebble in my shoe. It's driving me crazy." He said, "Well, I told you to stop to get it out." He said, "But I'm good. I'm going to meet you at the end." And Bob makes it to the end, and about 15, 20 minutes later, Mike finally comes hobbling by. And when he takes his shoe off, he sees it's bleeding and it's raw. Bob looks at him and said, "I told you, sometimes you got to just deal with the problem when it's there instead of pushing it off and waiting." So, moral of the story, right? How many times do we have something in our life, that pebble, right? That little annoyance that's gnawing at us, it's sitting there, and we don't do anything about it, right? So instead, we just go on about our day. But at the end of the day, it actually does hold us back, right? It doesn't allow us to get things done as quick as we want to get things done, or it gets in the way, gets in our mind, gets in our head, right? And we think about it, so it distracts us from getting things done. So, if you're a teenager, right, think about everything going on. You have tests, you have quizzes, you have so many things school related, right? That when you look at it from a global perspective, it can be overwhelming, right? Oh my God, I have a project in a month, I have a test in a week, I have a quiz this week, I have homework to do, I have a club to go to, right? When you start to think of all these things, it becomes very overwhelming, right? And sometimes it's that one of those things could be that pebble, right? It's like I have that project. That project's due in a month, but I need to start working on it. But I'm just going to put it off because I have all these other things to do, right? You put that project off and you put that project off, and all of a sudden, time comes. You need to get that project done. And now, what you could have done a little bit over time and kind of dealt with that particular thing, you decided you're just going to do it in a week. And now your entire week is crammed with not just the project, but the homework and the tests and the quizzes, and you feel completely overwhelmed. And you're probably not putting out your best output on that project, right? Because you just need to get it done. So that pebble in your shoe as a teen could be procrastination, right? What's the thing that's causing you to procrastinate that you need to think twice about and say, hey, how can I deal with this pebble now, right? Or how can I alleviate some of the discomfort now so I don't have to feel tremendous discomfort later? So that's just one example, right? But as teens, we procrastinate a lot. I know we do. I did it when I was a teenager, and trust me, it did not serve me well at all. So if you've got that pebble in your shoe, take the time to remove it, right, and deal with it. So, like I said, if you're a teenager and it's a test or a quiz or a project, that's fine. Maybe it's a friend who did wrong by you and it's bothering you. You need to say something. Say something. Deal with the issue. Maybe it's something you overheard that you need to address with your parents. Address it. Deal with it. Just walking around with that pebble is just going to cause you pain and discomfort. But if you don't actually remove it, it doesn't go away. It just makes things worse. So get rid of the pebble and have a great day.